prices are, of course, very high, and also they are risky for economic recovery around the world, but especially in the importing countries in the emerging world. This is a big risk there, together with the food prices being very high, and I think that it may well trigger us, the world, to step by step to a recession. And here we have to be very careful. We shouldn't play with fire, producers, consumers alike, and we should get out of this difficult situation altogether. Otherwise, it will be a problem for everybody.
But Dr. Birol, His Excellency Abdulaziz bin Salman has been around a long time. He knows exactly what could happen at $113 oil. Why do you think OPEC are sticking with current production plans?
I mean, they are, I would be happy if they stick with the current production plans, because what they produce now is lower than their production plans, first of all, to put it in a transparent way. And I very much hope that the increase coming from United States, from Brazil, Canada this year, will be accompanied by the increase coming from the key producers in Middle East and elsewhere. Otherwise, we have only one hope, that we don't have big trouble in the oil markets in summer, which is, hope in quote, that the Chinese demand remains very weak. Otherwise, if the China goes back to the usual oil consumption, oil demand trends, then we will have a very difficult summer around the world.
I think one of the challenges is that the range of potential scenarios here is so wide that it's very hard to plan for what the energy price is going to look like. For example, if we ultimately get a peace agreement in the near term between Russia and Ukraine, what ultimately would that mean, do you think, for the oil price? Would we see $20 or $30 taken out of the price because that currently represents the risk premium?
So this is a very heroic assumption of what we have in the current geopolitical context we are in. Of course, if there was a peace agreement between Russia and the rest of the world, I would put this way, it would have a positive impact on the oil markets. But Russia again and again proved that Russia is not a reliable energy partner. And as such, I see that there is a reorientation of global energy trade. And whatever the situation with Russia and Ukraine is, this will continue. And we will see that Russia, which was, I discussed with you, Steve, many years, Russia being one of the cornerstones of the global energy markets, will be, whatever the situation with Ukraine is, relegated to an important and significant supplier. Russia lost its credibility wherever you go around the world.
Let me just clarify what that means. Do you believe then that this is now a permanent structural shift in Russia's ability to sell its energy to the rest of the world? It's done. Maybe some countries in the emerging world will take the energy, but for the G7, that's it. Russia no longer in the future will be a supplier.
We are in the middle of the first global energy crisis now. And one of the consequences of this crisis will be, in my view, Russia will not be a reliable partner for many countries around the world, especially in Europe, North America, Japan, Korea, but also even Asia. If they make some trade with Russia, they will keep in mind what Russia has done to Ukraine, what Russia has done to Europe, what Russia has done 5 or 6 years ago to Crimea and elsewhere. So they will continue the trade, but there will be a premium for those countries when they make these trade agreements with Russia.